Hey guys, what is up? It is Greg here from Personal Evolution. Today we're looking at a relatively unknown cryptocurrency, and I thought we could apply our fundamental hats to looking at this. So get on your VC investing hat because we're going to take a look at this crypto in terms of a startup and where maybe, things are interesting, things may be undervalued. But as always, there's probably a caveat in that a couple of things need to happen to make this really pop. But we'll go through that. And I think it will be really interesting to see what you guys make of it. So, disclaimer first of all, I'm not a financial advisor nor an investment pro. This is just my opinion. So, don't treat anything I say as investment advice. And please, please, please do your own research. It's the best way to learn how to do this sort of stuff. You can look at frameworks and stuff to help. But yeah, really just get deep into it. So, who are we talking about today? We are talking about the cryptocurrency ThunderCore, and that's got a ticker symbol of TT. We'll cover what it is, how it works, and what could happen in the long run with the ThunderCore token price. We're going to take our framework from the other video, Fundamental Analysis of Crypto. So we'll be working through product, use case, business model, market potential, traction, team, funding, and price into the future. So let's dive in and take a look at ThunderCore. First thing to start with these crypto products is probably the heavy technical bit. And we'll take a look at the product and kind of why it's suited to its use case. So there are two products we need to understand here, the ThunderCore blockchain and token, so the protocol layer, and the ThunderCore hub, which is its decentralized app store. The hub is more about traction, so we'll talk about it in that part. But let's take a look at the blockchain and token part first. I've linked in the description to the white paper. So if you're kind of interested in this kind of overview, please take a look at that because it will give you much deeper understanding of what they're trying to do. In short though, ThunderCore is a high performance smart contract platform which allows the running of dApps and DeFi. The underlying currency is TT, the ThunderCore token, and which is used for gas and kind of transfer of value. It's good technology in that it allows for under 1 second confirmations, and that was kind of what they set out to do. In the last year, they seem to be delivering on this promise, and it's made great changes. They've implemented something called Parler, which is their version of a Byzantine fault tolerance protocol. I may get those words wrong, so please check that. Which has improved the transactions per second up to 4,000. So that's an increase of 333%, which is leading amongst current mainstream public chains. And, this is probably one of the best performing blockchains out there. So really good. And I think that suits their use case because they are looking at dApps. And we've seen the issues with Ethereum becoming all snarled up with extremely high gas fees recently. So yeah, that's really great. And the second part of what they've done in the past year that really makes me excited about the underlying technology is they've opened up massively to cross-chain technology. So they've made a bridge to Ethereum, they've made a bridge to Tether and other kind of cross-chain assets. So now, in their words, they're allowing kind of 75% of the crypto market value to operate on ThunderCore. And, that really helps with interconnectivity, interoperability, and I think it's going to be really important in the future. So, in kind of summary of the product, pretty great stuff this side. Let's get on to the more fundamental analysis now. And for this, I will bring up a little diagram that I've drawn so we can work through together what I look at. So, we've just kind of covered the protocol. There, I had a few more stats on here. Let's take a look at kind of this first corner of the flywheel. Oh, sorry, I should explain what this flywheel is. This is the ThunderCore's business model, and it generally works with dApp developers, as I've already said, to create a thriving community. What this does is it kind of drives the protocol development, and that's what we see here. So we've got our little inputs. So say investors put in cash, which creates funding, which equals a better token price, which brings more miners and validators, which brings more platform functionality, which brings more third-party dApps. They put in more kind of applications, which makes more useful applications, which brings more users, which brings community, and founders are kind of the first input there to bring the protocol to bear. So really quick but hopefully we can step through this and it'll make a bit more sense as we go. Cool. So let's look at investors. So total raised 50 million USD dollars. That's pretty impressive. They did an angel round, seed round, and a final round at these various price points. Some of you who are quite sharp might pick up that the current price today is only 0.00954, which makes for some pretty unhappy investors, especially that last round, because they are miles off. But hopefully this gives you a view of what the internal team at least thinks the potential price is for this. I mean, if we get back to 0.1, we're looking at 100x, or sorry, 10x even. And, that's just the baseline that they believe they can get to. So let's take a look to see if this is realistic. So, sorry, on this first one, we've got kind of funding. Good stuff. Let's look at miners. So miners have now exceeded 1 million, which is pretty impressive. I don't know how that actually compares to other blockchains, but, you've got third-party projects like Huobi Pool. I don't know how you say that. Someone please tell me. And TT-related mining projects. So they were kind of fully started to help that cross-chain stuff. So we've got quite a fair amount of miners there. In terms of now third-party developers, this is something that I know personally because we have launched a dApp on the platform, and I can talk about that in another video. But so they have a jumpstart program for dApp developers, and by my count, there's about 10 new dApps launched in 2020. Great stuff, mixed performance, but overall pretty cool. And finally, the big one, more users. So this is where stuff really starts to get interesting for me. Let's look at some stats. So 2019, 105k, up 1,050%, up to 1.1 million total users. That's big. Let's look at the monthly active users to show that that's just not people jumping on and off. Nope, it's 400,000 monthly active users at the moment. That's an increase of 20,000%. So these guys are really executing on that kind of place to pull users in. And I don't think I said it at the start, but one of the key components of this was bringing blockchain to the masses. And these guys seem to be doing it. If I pull up the dApp radar, which is one of the things that measures how used they are. If we order by users, we can see that these guys, Sirius Dice and Galaxy Blocks, both built on ThunderCore, are in the top 10. An interesting point here is if you look at the volume column or the balance column, you see how the Ethereum and BSC and the other ones kind of dwarf it in terms of volume. But you look at the users and you go, well, these are getting such high usage. Like, what's going on there? So I think, and I'll kind of go into this a bit more, but I think where ThunderCore have kind of suffered in the past with the bad press that I'll talk about and other stuff, they're just not getting any of the volume or visibility that other projects are getting. And that's why this volume is so low. But what they are doing extremely well is getting users on. And at the end of the day, users decide what happens. So, we've got massive use already. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on, in the future. And users drive developers. And yeah, so let's take one more look at this diagram. I mean, all this kind of stuff that I'm saying now, I hope you can see that this is just going to drive this flywheel round and round and round, because the more users attracts helps develop protocol, attracts more investment, better, that will drive token price, and that will drive more miners to come on, drive third-party developers to come on. And yeah, so I mean, for my point of view, for our dApp, we are extremely excited by this because as part of the Jumpstart for developers, we have access to over 400,000 users, monthly active users, 1.1 million users in total, which is just huge. I mean, you imagine trying to slog out and get users yourself. This is just huge. So I'm really bullish on this because I am kind of a developer as part of this community. But we'll cover the founders now. So Chris Wang. This is where things start to fall apart a bit for ThunderCore. So Chris Wang is brilliant, and he previously created Playdom, which was a social gaming company. So we see now where the crossover is between a dApp store for third-party developers and Chris's experience. He sold his previous company for $500 million, so he has a fair bit of money, and he also has a doctorate in computer science from Carnegie Mellon. The problems start when you look at the other co-founders. So initially, this project was run on a strong team with strong academic rigor because the co-founder was a chief scientist and she developed the Parler system. She left in 2019. She went to work on other products, and this is where things start to unravel a little for ThunderCore. The sentiment in this company is really against them. And the reason for this, if I switch back, I don't think I have any more. Nope. If I switch back to my other screen. So the sentiment against ThunderCore is something that I believe can play into our favor. ThunderCore botched the handling of the exit of the co-founder, the chief scientist, and then compounded this by transferring 30 and 50 million TT coins to Fire Exchange and Upbit before the transactions began. Now, if you're a investor and like we are, and you see 50 million coins going out the door and 30 million coins going out the door, the community saw this as a massive project sell-off, and they went, well, this is crazy, and it completely destroyed the faith in the project amongst investors, and that's where we saw the price drop from the first price when it came out, 0.029, and where it was priced at the angel rounds of 0.1. And it dropped to the current price of like 0.09, which is only just recently up from 0.05. So this sentiment bit is really important when you're looking at companies, because we can see where, maybe there's an opportunity for us if we can see what they're doing is great. And I think hopefully from the previous slides, we can see that well, let me bring it up again. We've got a lot of stuff going for it here. And that's the real value in fundamental analysis. Like, you look at this and you go, well, actually, these guys are doing really well behind the scenes. And yeah, that's where we can extract value. So I guess in conclusion, there's a couple of things I think are really good. ThunderCore is a great technology. We've got 400 transactions per second, which is one of the leading ones. We've got a huge following, led by Chris Wang, who has immense experience in developing these sorts of platforms. However, we do have some major communication and marketing issues that don't fill us with confidence as investors. I had a deep dive into this, and when I was looking, I couldn't find any press after the chief scientist left. So that was back in 2019 in August. There is literally no press that I could find, and even on ThunderCore's website, it is seriously lacking in press. So I think on the whole, this company is suffering immensely from the negative sentiment, and they haven't done anything to improve that sentiment. And hopefully this video can go some way of showing that actually these guys are doing great. They've got the fundamentals that point to a great flywheel effect coming, that little circle of life, things feeding into things. Maybe it won't happen this cycle, but I am personally relatively confident it will happen because of the amount of usage we're seeing. And from my own personal experience, me as a dApp developer, I need users, and that's what investors want to see for my project. And so, I think if we get back to the all-time high price of 0.029, there'll be some happy investors. And I think it's a real opportunity for us to pick up some really cheap tokens. Even in this super bullish market, I still personally believe that this is super undervalued. I mean, all you have to do is go on dappradar.com or one of the others and see the usage and see where the volume is. And that's probably the things that are most excited about. So that's it. I hope there was a good amount of information there. Hopefully I didn't go too deep on any bits and it all made sense. Please give this video a like and subscribe, because it will really help it show up in the algorithm. And I will be doing this on other projects. I think I'm going to tackle Uniswap next, which is a departure into DeFi for me. So that'll be fun. And yeah, if you could take 2 secs, give it a like, give it a subscribe, and help more people find this video, it'd be great. Or maybe keep it secret because maybe you want to buy loads of Thunder tokens or whatever. That's up to you. But yeah, hopefully see you in the next one, and I hope you enjoyed the content. Thanks.